Hi and welcome to the channel. We are role-playing and storytelling in Crusader Kings 3. Our current character is King Frey here. He's the head of House Korp and King of Sweden. And with storytelling I mean that I'm developing him and the people around him, adding depth and flavor to the story. There's already a lot of depth and flavor to this game, but I try to add some more. And role-playing means that I am playing him in accordance with his traits here and the personality I have developed for him during previous episodes. As I said, I also try to develop the important people around the king, people that we meet during this playthrough. The last few episodes there has been a lot of focus on our son and heir, Stalkada. He's been having some interactions when he led one of our armies in the war where we conquered Viking here, and he's also been out raiding and having some conversations with commanders about his place. So he's a impatient, gluttonous and cynical man, so he has inherited some of his personality from his father, but he will be his own person, and when he takes over we will play as him. But for now we are still the 74-year-old and infirm King Frey. So let's see what's on his mind today. Well, we have a lot of new territory. This Jarldom here, Viking. We don't hold Jarldom as of yet, but I was thinking about usurping it. We're not only the king, we're also the Jarl of Västergötland, our starting duchy, and the home of our court, and we're also the Jarl of Småland. We don't hold any actual chiefdoms here, but we are still the Jarl, and I think that if you hold 3 Jarldoms, your vassal will dislike you for it, but the king is definitely starting to think about the inheritance, and as you know, if you are playing Crusader Kings, the inheritance is a mess. It's one of the fun parts of the game is to try to manage inheritance, and I'm definitely I've got a decent grasp of how it works, but I'm by no means an expert, and I don't think the king is either, because there's so many children, so many titles and pieces of land to take into consideration that you can't really be expected to know what everyone will inherit. But what the king is thinking is that he has to start to plan for the day that will come soon when he dies and his children takes over. What will happen to the realm then? I was thinking about hiring the tribal authority, but the king he really it wouldn't be him to do this, because he's a reluctant king. He would rather have his vassals as independent as possible. His only motivation to become king was that he'd rather be king himself than bow to someone else. So that's why he's king, but he's not out for dominance or power really. He just wants the best for himself and his closest family. So I think we're a bit over our domain limit, so we have to give some land away, but I think we can hold on to it for some time before we start getting negative effects on levies and taxes and other stuff. I think you can hold on to more land for a couple of months before it starts hurting you, and I think we should do that. And I also think that we should usurp the Jarldom here, because we conquered the land, but our enemy Harald here still holds the Jarl title. But if we usurp it, I think it will be good for our inheritance, because then maybe our son, I want our heir to have as much land in our primary duchy as possible. So let's try and usurp the Jarldom of Viken. It will cost us gold, I think. Yes, 250 gold, but we gain prestige, and we are low on prestige. So let's do that. Usurp it. Now we are the Jarl of Viken as well. So we hold 3 Jarldoms, and maybe this will start to... yeah, too many duchies. It's minus 15 negative opinion, but everyone in the realm really likes this king by now, so I hope that won't be a problem, because I will start to give titles away to my children, but I really want to wait. He's the next one until they are old enough before I start giving titles away. So he is soon old enough to become his own ruler, and then I will maybe give him a Jarldom. So what to do in the meantime? Well, I noticed that Frisia here has become independent somehow. It's ruled by an 8-year-old boy who only has 867 troops. Unfortunately we don't have the prestige, I think, to conquer anything from him now. We need more prestige before we can start thinking about conquering more lands, so let's go raiding instead. Raise all us raiders. Here we are gathering. It will take about 2 weeks, and now it's 3 days left, so the raiding army is ready. I think I will give one of the armies to my son and heir, because he needs experience if he is to rule himself one day. And here it looks like we have Ragnar of Fordbasse. Yeah, he's our best commander, I think, very experienced. So let's send him with the young prince to raid. Here we can go and raid the new king of Frisia's capital. And let's send our son to raid something nearby. Niedersticht. Here we go. Another raid incoming. Because we need to get our prestige up and hopefully some more money. But here's an event involving one of our sons. It's Baldur. He is wondering about a punishment, and I can make him temperate and gain stress, or make him just, and I will tell him that the punishment did indeed not fit the crime, and make him just. And here's a vassal who wants me to attend his feast in Kalmar. It's my marshal, Chieftain Åsbjörn of Mörder. It will be my pleasure. I look forward to this. Yeah, I also noticed during playthroughs that my favorite daughter, the apple of my eye as the king calls her, Auder, has become a widow. She was married to the second son of the chief of Gotland, but he died in the war for Viking. He was slain. And they have 3 boys, and I've taken on them as wards myself because, like I said, she was my favorite daughter and these are my grandchildren. So I will raise them. The king will raise them. Here is her husband. He was viciously dismembered by Earl Halfdan of Cambridgeshire's mighty axe. So he died in battle. He hopefully has a good time in Valhalla now. But anyway, we could marry Order off again, but since she's the king's favorite daughter, she already has 3 healthy boys. I think that unless she herself wishes a marriage, the king wouldn't marry her off again. I think he likes to have her around at court. She is his friend and, like I said, favorite daughter. She's friends with this man, but he's already married, so, and it says friend, so let's let them remain friends and not get involved in any relations that might complicate things, right? Here's an event at the feast. In the middle of celebrations, I am more intrigued by the defensibility of this hall. Should an attack be launched from the outside right this moment, the lower nobility would be the ones in immediate danger. Beyond that, a small bastion could be made from the great tables, offering a modicum of protection. Now, how would we have to stage a counterattack? You can never be too safe, so I gain a defender advantage because I am thinking about strategy at this feast. Here comes a raiding party down to Frisia, and at the feast the king is conversing with the chief's mother, Alfrid. And we can encourage her to talk more about tomb collections. And that was how we salvaged that mess. Are you sure I am not boring you, my lord? Or we could ask her to talk more about herself instead, which I think is more in line with what a king would do. Let's become friends with the mother of chieftain Åsbjörn. Oh, here it is. I am proud to see my son no longer as a child but as an adult. So this is our second born son. He became a fortune builder, which is a good stewardship education trait. He is betrothed, he is betrothed to Jorun here. Let's take a look at this. To start with Karl here, he is the son of our concubine Giselle, who is a princess of France and the former wife of the now deceased king of Brittany. She has had a major part in this storytelling let's play this far. There has been a lot of conversations between her and the king, and she also sent scornful letter to her former husband, and yeah, we have had a lot of fun engaging interactions with Giselle here, and she has given us a lot of sons, and they will have a lot of claims from her and from the king. So what shall we do with this son of hers, Prince Karl? When he was born, the king was working on getting her to accept and enjoy her place up here in the north, and he succeeded. But one thing that he did was to let her name this firstborn, and she named him after her father, King Charles the Bald, and Karl is the Nordic version of Charles, so that's why he is named Karl. And now he is fully grown, so let's take a look at what to do with him. Well, to start, we are going to marry him to Jorun here. She's quite a bit, she's 12 years older than him, so she will be the experienced one in that marriage. But the reason that we are marrying off to a low-born girl is that she's the daughter of our friend and former court tutor Astridel and our first chancellor Jatvarder. The king had a very high opinion of Jatvarder and always had in the back of his mind that Jatvarder should be rewarded for his services. He wanted to give him his own lands and an opportunity to found his own house, but sadly he died and he never had any sons. So to reward him and fulfill Jatvarder's final wish, we betrothed his only child, his daughter Jorun, to our son, and that way Jatvarder's family and line and his story can continue through these two. So they should get married, and then we will see about giving Karl here some lands of his own. Send this proposal, because if we give him lands before we get them married, he might have his own ideas and thinking about a younger, more highborn wife. I hope not. I hope he likes Jorun here. You know, what can a 15-year boy ask for more than an experienced woman to guide him into manhood, right? Let's get this going. Karl married Jorun. Let's hope they have some children. They should be... Oh, sadly Jorun doesn't like men. I didn't notice that before, and I don't think the king knows about it either, because let's call it that her sexual orientation is unknown to the king, so he only thinks that he's doing her a service. And well, let's see how that plays out, shall we? And let's take a look at what lands we can give to our second born. Right, so let's see about getting our inheritance in order and getting rid of some of those holdings above our domain limit. So I think that if you give land away to your heirs before they come of age, it will be counted towards the inheritance, so they shouldn't be it will deduct the titles they stand to inherit anyway. And this son at the present moment stands to inherit one chiefdom from us, and also the jarldom of Trøndelag from his mother, who is jarl here. So I was thinking about giving him... Yeah, we can, if we give him... Let's try this. I'm not sure that this will work out well, but I don't think that the king knows more than me about these things. I mean, he can't go watch a tutorial on YouTube about inheritance. So let's try to give him... Maybe we should get him betrothed first. Or should we let him find his own spouse? Let's see if there's anyone who stands out as exceptionally good. No, let's let Angrimmer here sort out his own marriage. He is I think 4th in line, so he's not the most important of our children. You can't really, when you have so many, you can't really be expected to keep track of them all. So let's try and grant him Telemark here. Now he is a chief. And now he only stands to inherit this from us. So maybe we should give him now. Let's try to give Carl here the Jarldom. He's only heir to the Jarldom, so he won't get any. Because I was thinking if I give him this Jarldom, he shouldn't be in line to inherit this, right? Let's see how it goes. Hey, look, you are now a Jarl. And that, it seems like that was enough. So he is not inheriting any more lands if we die now, it looks like. And who else do we have? This is a bastard. Here's Balder. He's now heir to the Earldom of Småland. We'll let that stand. And here is one who is heir to. Does he stand to inherit more? This son here. Yeah. Let's give him this as well. Try to keep it. Try to keep it somewhat tidy. There you go. And now he is the Jarl of his brother. So let's see how that plays out. And what did this do with our inheritance? So my second born now is considered to have been given what he's due. So he doesn't stand in line to inherit anymore. This is a bastard son. He is out of the inheritance. Balder here, it says that he will inherit the Jarldom of Småland and nothing more. I think that the game then will give him the Jarldom and some land there. Let's keep an eye on that. And here is Chieftain Arngrimr, who we just gave the Chieftain of Telemark. He's inheriting Trøndelag, but that is from his mother, so it doesn't really concern us. Well, it does, but there's nothing we can do about it. And nothing else, because he has also been given what he is owed. And now it's just young Brage here, our 8-year-old. He is inheriting here, so we really should. And this down here. So if there is time for us, we should see about getting some more land to give to our children to keep the succession and inherit. Oh, here's a fighter I released in exchange for his services. Einar of Dovre, you are now my champion. Welcome to the court. And I am returning home after the feast. Farewell, my marshal. I lose some stress. It was a good feast. What a feast. He likes his parties down there in Kalmar, Småland. I was at the feast at his father's a couple of years back. And I think the king liked this one better. Oh. No. My court physician Ingfrida died. She was the last of our counselors that had been with us from the start of the campaign when we were only a jarl. She has been my riksgårdi, that's realm priest, and court physician. So let's see about replacing her. Yeah, the council automatically appoints a new riksgård. I don't think that we have the authority to meddle with the clergy, so they appoint. I mean, it says here you can change, but I seem to remember that if you do, they just change back again. Anyway, he's not at all good at his job. Let's see what Helgi here is going to get to be up to, and let's see about a new court physician. Is there anyone good at the job? No, not really. I could search for one, but while we're here, let's take a look at the other positions and see if there's anyone who can be decent at one of those that we haven't appointed yet. Because if I'm going to spend money on a position to employ someone, I really want them to be good at it. Here we could make our concubine cupbearer, and she would be good at the job, but she hates us because we abducted her. So I don't think it's a good idea to make her cupbearer. Here's one who would be excellent as an executioner. Well, in that case, Hugni, you sadistic man, you shall be our executioner. Who is he? He's an evil blackguard and married to this girl who is of House Mora. I think this is a woman we took hostage in a war up here, and we then recruited her to our court and married her off to him. So well, let's see what if we find a use for Hugni as an executioner. Let's see what's up in court. We have Chieftain Sverker of Ångermanland here. He's my chancellor and vassal, and he wants something from me. A feline hunter. He wants to hunt a cat. I think I found the reason why some days are more rat-free than others, my chancellor Chieftain Sverker happily declares as he moves aside to reveal a servant holding a very displeased cat. It wriggles in attempt to free itself from the scratched up arms of the servant, mewling. That must be the English version of how a cat sounds. In Swedish it would be meowar, but anyway in English is mewling in a rather endearing fashion. I'd say this is one successful rat hunter. In fact, it was in the middle of a wrestling match with a fat one when we found it. What say you, should we adopt this cat? So he has found a cat, and the king could give it to Chieftain Sverker, or he could get a pet cat, and I'd love a feline companion, says the king. Here we are a cat owner. Yeah, and I sent messages away across the realm that I need a court physician, so let's see if someone shows up. Oh, what shall I call the cat? Paws, Mittens or Grey? Well, since I'm recording and this is a let's play, let's not dawdle on this one too much. I like Paws. What a great name. Oh, this is usually good. Someone wants to purchase a truce. And it's High Chieftain Davgon of Vovdisamiana. I always like to try to get those words right. So let's see if I can do this one. Vovdisamiana. 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 Vuovdisamierna. He's a Sapmi chief, High Chieftain Davgon of Vuovdisamierna. I think that's the best I can do. Vuovdisamierna. Anyway, the king has no desire at all to go conquering Sapmi lands. And he will pay us 50 gold for a truce, so we accept. And here are some choices for court physicians. I have Anundr here, who is a grey eminence and has a high learning. It says that he's quite experienced. He would cost us 25 to hire. And then we have Gudfrid Raudi. He's wheezing and avaricious. He doesn't look like a good physician. He has a low learning and no physician skill. This one doesn't either, but at least he's a learned man, so he should be able to learn on the job. So you are hired, Anundr. Let's see if we can get you married. Yeah. I have this Alvor of Olafsdotter of Brest. Yeah, let's give her a matrilineal marriage, because I was trying to keep the Brest house alive. So let's see if she can get some children with Anundr. Right, and he's a magnanimous empath. Sounds good. And he should be my court physician, right? It's here. Court is court positioned. Yes, he is. So that's good. Why can I imprison Chieftain Sverker? Because he's an adulterer. There's no chance of doing that, so let's not bother. And the king doesn't really think that adultering is a crime, even though apparently the law does. So, I captured the Prince Bishop. Could we ransom him? Prisoners can be ransomed. Prince Bishop Marcin of Nedersticht. He would pay 50 gold for his release. I still hold the Queen and heir of the King of Brittany, waiting for him to tax his peasantry enough that he can pay for them. We have already taken his mother. She is Giselle, our concubine, and his father's next wife, as well as concubines. So we are kind of having a rivalry with Brittany, in so far that every other year we go down there, raid their castles and abduct their queens. Oh, he wants to pay us 57 for his heir, but he's worth 200, so come back when you have some more coffers of gold, King Eruption. We were just talking about you, and here you are trying to haggle for your son. You cheap bastard. His father was greedy, that's why he wouldn't pay for the safe release of his wives. So now they are happy, or at least Giselle is happy. Oh, I captured another one. It's so good to raid because you get all those prisoners. And here's little Ermengarde Billung. Her grandfather is willing to pay 10 for her safe release, and let's do that. And let's continue raiding. I don't see that anyone will disturb us down here in Frisia. The 27 loot looks like a worthwhile endeavor. Why not go for... There's a fly on my microphone. If you're wondering what the buzzing sound is. Oh, outliving a child. Oh, Odin, how could you do this, Botilda? If I have sinned, why did you not punish me instead? She was blameless, my perfect daughter. Life had so much more in store for her. Oh. Poor Botilda, how did she die? She died in childbirth. She was the mastermind philosopher, probably our most intelligent and clever child. She doesn't have the intelligent trait, but she was philosophically inclined, and we married her off against her will to Jarl Ivar the Boneless of Söderloja. Botilda and the king had a conversation at length about this in a previous episode. She was definitely not willing to go, but the king sent her anyway. And now she is dead. At least she didn't kill herself, but apparently Ivar here, although being a one-legged, drunk, irritable 52-year-old, managed to get her pregnant. Well, for her sake, I hope that she found some good-looking young squire to tumble around with, and that it was he who got her pregnant, but we don't know anything about that. But sadly she died in childbirth, which diplomatically means that we lost our alliance with Jarl Ivar here, and the king of course is mortified and I think blames himself for sending her away, but we needed the alliance to conquer Viking, so she was sacrificed for the greater good, something that the king definitely is not feeling comfortable with. Neither am I. You should never sacrifice a person for the greater good, it's not worth it. But we did what we did, and now we have to live with it. So I think that the king will have a hard time sleeping tonight and the nights to come. The reason we married her off was that we needed a strong ally to deal with Vikings' ally Mercia here. But Botilda definitely didn't deserve this, and we gained stress for it, which is only fair. I feel really sad about this, which I should do, because that means that I am immersing myself and feeling with the characters around me, the characters that I'm trying to bring to life here. I have a guilty conscience because it wasn't right of us to send her away to marry Jarl Ivar. Questionable concoctions. Walking between audiences, I overhear my magnanimous court physician Anander discussing his latest flight of fancy. It is supposedly the strongest potion in existence and comes only from the farthest reaches of the world, or so say the merchants and alchemists I have spoken to. He pulls out a vial of pale yellow liquid, swirling it beneath my courtiers' curling noses. They say it grants vigor and long life, and is favored by those who are going into battle, but only the strongest can handle this power. So says my new court physician. And here is my courtier Ingfrid Gyridsdottir looking skeptical. So let's see what the options are. I can go for strongest portion, you say, give it here. Which will it has a 29% chance of giving me an increased prowess, but a much higher percentage giving me a health penalty. Or I can go with only Odin grant us a strength, which would be against the king's character because he's a cynical man. Or this swill isn't fit for a beast, let alone a man. I wonder why Ingfrid Gyridsdottir here is looking more than skeptical here. She is... oh, she's just the... maybe she's just standing there overhearing this. She's a gluttonous, brave and shy person. So maybe she wants the potion for herself, perhaps, being a gluttonous and brave. And the king, he is infirm, sickly and old, so he's always been a curious man, willing to try out new things and wanting to figure out how things work. So I think he would go for this option here. It's 1% chance that we die where we stand from this potion. It's 29% chance that it will give us a boost, and a 69% chance that we will get stress and feel unwell, which might lead to the death of our old and infirm king. But like I said, he is infirm and he grasps at every straw he can find to feel better. Here we go. What happened? I didn't get a notification. Oh, I got this feeling unwell. It's a minor health penalty. Let's hope that the king could survive this. We have plenty more room for loot, but the Netherlands are starting to look a bit burned down. Look at this. We have been traversing around here, taking all they have and burning their villages, farms and castles down. I captured someone else, Countess van Hildis. She is worth 25, let's ransom her. Too much of a good thing. This is an event involving my wife, Jarl Sif, and Unur, my lover and the mother of 2 children who are of House Bebenberg, even though they are both mine. But only Unur and I know that her son, who I made chief of lands down on the German Baltic coast, is actually mine. So Aki of Bebenberg here raised him as his own until he died. But let's take a look at the event. Never would I have thought that a man could have too much passion, yet it seems life has proved me wrong. Some days I feel as if my spare time is nothing but going on hunts with Sif and suffering through endless arguments with Unur. For how long can I go on like this? These women will be the end of me. Well, he would definitely not let go of Sif, even though he likes Unur. They are lovers. The queen here is his soulmate and friend and wife, and has been so from the start of the campaign. If the king has a love of his life, it is Jarl Sif Alfgeirdsdottir. But I think that Uno, since she's now in with her son in Germany, that the king, being 74 years old, even if he is lustful and could use that to keep up, I think Unnel and I have reached the end of the road. It was really she who started the affair anyway. She flirted with us and we took the bait, so to speak. But the king has had good times with Unnel, but he's not too sad to say that you stay down in Germany, take care of your son and his new chiefdom. I'll see you at our next feast if we survive that long. Let's go and raid Dokkum. How much? Yeah, we still have more room for loot. Greetings, my handsome liege, says Chancellor Sverker. He has made some diplomacy and made some people like us better. Here's an invitation to a feast from Chieftain Ragnar of Medelpad. The king will attend. Oh, I could pay some infiltrators to make my marshal here like me better, but he already likes me a lot, so it's not worth it. Here is Chiefess Ingfrid, the wife of our host. She recognizes true intellect because she is impressed with my learning. So we have a lot of loot, but maybe we can still get some more. How about France? I haven't raided France yet. Oh, but this duke here has got 9,000 men, so maybe I shouldn't go mess with Flanders, because usually I just take a look at the top title, and the king and his retinue of 1,800 we could definitely handle, but the Duke of Flanders, that's another business. How about England? That could be a problem as well. Let's go for easy targets. Let's go get the Cornish gold. The innuendo. I know what I said, I just don't understand why you find it so funny. Olaf cocks his head to the side while I withhold my chortle. I haven't told him that what he said could be interpreted as something lewd. Oh, it's this one. I had this one at my last feast with down in Småland. Oh, not the last one, but a previous feast. It's the chieftain here. He says she had a lovely chest on display in the courtroom. And the king, of course, is laughing to himself, and so is Olaf Ragnarsson Stake here, his steward and son. So the king could go with never mind, or I could say repeat what you said but slowly, really think about it. And the king, having a good sense of humor, let's call it that, definitely goes with repeat what you said but slowly, really think about it. And then Chieftain Ragnar has to repeat, she had a lovely chest on display in the courtroom. And let's see what happens. Oh, Olaf is mortified by your perverse humor. Well, that has happened to me in real life couple of times as well. I've gotten that reaction. Here is my bastard son, Svein. He has come of age and he became a tough soldier. What shall we do with him? He's the daughter of Gyridahel, one of my former lovers. I always like those congenital traits, so let's marry him off to this pretty Russian girl, Premislava. Come marry my bastard. Let's see what his future holds. I capture another wife of a count, Countess Helena. She's worth 25. Let's ransom her. I am returning home from a good party. And here is Premislava Svenislavovna. Is that correct? Svenislavovna. Svenislavovna. Premislava Svenislavovna. Right. She's scarred, but she's pretty. Let's see what happens there. And let's go doing our favorite Viking holiday, raid the Cornish and the Welsh. You run away because here comes the raiding party. Someone is already raiding here. So let's see if we can beat them to some of the loot. Yeah, we are strong enough that we could raid here as well, but it looks like all the loot has been taken. How are the Irish doing? There's not much loot to be had. We could capture some prisoners, but maybe it's time to call it a day. In an inappropriate exchange, Baldur seemed to enjoy our latest feast immensely. Afterwards, he couldn't stop talking about the feelings that locking eyes with one of the younger servants had caused him. So he is developing into a lustful young boy. That is good, the king likes that. He is lustful himself. Oh, the younger rascal is coming of age, is he? Oh, I didn't mean to go there and take attrition, but I did, so well, when we're here, we might as well loot it. Pause, the rodent killer. As Pause approaches me with yet another dead rat, I can do nothing but praise her. The castle has never been this free of rodents before. Keep up the good work, Pause. Solace in script. The latest work of my vassal, Chieftain Aki, has become all the rage at court of late. Oh, so it's a vassal dedicating a poem to us. If it's Chieftain Aki Rodgaison of Sevede. The poem reads, Still mornings in summer. No matter how many days twist and pass, life without him is a sick morass. Alone bereft without that sweet man, who next among us will end his span. So far I've kept my thoughts to myself, but the buzz has grown too dramatic to ignore for much longer. So the king could go with, I don't know quite how I feel about it. I can see that this is truly heartfelt or drivel. But no, the king is poet himself, and this was a good poem. So he will tell Aki that he can see that this is truly heartfelt. And although we still have some more room for loot in our longships, I think we have burned down the Netherlands here and took what the Welsh and the Cornish has, so I think it's time to go home. So let's sail there, and while we're sailing, let's see if we can ransom some prisoners. Oh, here we have the Anglo-Nordic hybridization. Spurred on by positive relations and increased cultural exchange, the Norse and Anglo-Saxon people have grown increasingly close over the years. Now individuals from these societies have begun to view themselves not as one or the other, but as both simultaneously, a new Anglo-Nordic culture. The Anglo-Saxon traditions and values form the backbone of this new culture, while various Norse attributes have been adapted and integrated to meet the needs of their new society. Whether out of skillful manipulation or genuine desire to lead his people into a new era, Jarl Heistein has positioned himself as the leader of this cultural awakening. So the Jarl Heisteining of Mercia has hybridized the culture. This is something that I have yet to look into during this playthrough. When last I played CK3, you couldn't do this, and I've been curious about it, but there's just been so much going on for the king all the time, so we've never really had the time to look into what you can do with the cultures now, but I will definitely take a look at this in the future, and regarding this new culture we will see how the situation develops. That's definitely interesting. How about ransoming Elin Arlashvud? Is that your name? Elin Fark Sande Arlashvud. Elin Fark Sande Arlashvud. Arlashvud, maybe. Elin Fark Sande Arlashvud. Like I said, I enjoy, but I call it tasting words. That's why I speak so slow most of the time, I think, because my brain has to taste the word before I say it. And I like, it's one of my favorite hobbies. Elin Fark Sande Arlashvud. Anyway, she's a prisoner, and the Lord I won't do him. I will spare you. I will spare you from Lord Glvidian up. I can. Alright, here's your daughter back. Pay us 10 gold. That's sometimes all you need to say, right? Yeah, there's a lot of things going on here now. And we are sailing home from our raids. Inspired moderation. It's my grandson. I can make him temperate, but the king doesn't like that trait, so he can be just or cynical instead. I don't really get why we should be stress because we make him cynical, because we ourselves are cynical, and the king is definitely not a temperate man. Although he is, he's a patient man, so maybe that's in line with it, but yeah, we'll have to become stressed then, because it's time to show him how little Odin cares, we are saying to our grandson Frey. Oh, and a new perk for our martial lifestyle. We won't have time to make much use of this, but the king had finished what he was interested in the learning lifestyle tree, so he switched to martial for the wars, and we have returned home with a lot of loot and a lot of prestige, and we will see what we can do with this. Is there time for the now 76-year-old infirm king to do more in his lifetime, or should he just be content, lean back in his throne, go to bed with his wife and take it easy? Or should he go out, conquer more lands for his sons? We'll see about all that in the next episode. So for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope I see you in the next one. Goodbye.